Driple, can you give us a brief summary of your current profession as of right now?
Sure. So we are into training and coaching. We conduct various kind of transformational training programs and a different niche. We have workshops on life. We've got workshops on business coaching. We have workshops on study skills and productivity. Some of the workshops we conduct, and we were previously into offline coaching only. Since COVID, we started online workshops as well. And currently, we have been in this training program since 2 decades now. And we've been able to connect with over 3 lakh people worldwide. So, this is who we are, this is what we do. And I'm the CEO of the organization. I'm heading this organization currently.
Who is the target audience
So,
for?
as I shared, we have different workshops, and for each workshop, we have a different audience. Like for business workshop that we conduct, the small and medium enterprises, they are the target owners. For the life coaching program, again, we have three segments. We have workshop for adults, we have workshop for young adults, that is teenagers, and then we have workshop for kids as well. So these are the variety of programs that we conduct. So hence the target audience is huge and it becomes very difficult to understand what niche to cater at one point of time.
How will each of these individual kids, middle age, older adults benefit from the program that you guys are setting up?
So when it comes to adult, it impacts them massively because what they have been going through since childhood, there's a lot of negative programming that impacts them into their day-to-day operations. It impacts them in terms of the choices that they make, in terms of the life they manifest. So this workshop really helps them to unleash their true potentials by breaking those limiting beliefs that has been created from a very long time. And with the help of breaking these limiting beliefs that they've been holding on, this really helps them to go all in into everything that they want to do. They are able to transform to more liberating beliefs, and at the same time, their perspective towards life, perspective towards people, perspective towards things change on a great extent. They also are able to develop certain skills that helps them to transform other human being or their relationship with other human being. So this is how it works for adult. If I talk about teenager or young adult, they are themselves in a very vulnerable age, and that is actually a life building age. When you are a teenager or young adult, you are going through a lot of experiments of your life. You are still figuring the shit out, that what I want to focus upon, what I want to do, what I want to be. And in that process, we all have lot of confusion. We have a lot of self doubt that we go through. Also, we go through the phase of the judgment game. We're trying to judge ourselves, where we have this fear that others are going to judge us. And it's a building phase where we are looking constantly for confidence, for confirmation from the opposite people. So this workshop really helps them to open up their mind and understand what's really important is not about trying to impress people, but more about expressing your true identity. So for the young adults, once they start realizing this, they become more real towards themselves. And this is the age where they actually can go from being a mediocre personality to become a responsible leader in their life. The seeds that can be sown at this particular age cannot be cultivated later on. For an adult to become a leader, it's going to be difficult. But for a young adult to have that core of leadership, it's very easy. So that is where we focus on.
Right. What what who are you, and like what is the side things that you actually do, your hobbies? Like, who are you?
Okay. So who really I am is by my core, by my heart, I'm a transformer. I love to help people transform themselves, and this has come in my life from my mom. She's been very compassionate person, and she's very religious, God-fearing person. And looking at her, understanding her, she's always taught me to do something good for people. And as I move forward on this path, I realize that religion is different, spirituality is different, okay? And do something that really nourishes your soul. And when I came across, this is not something which I had really planned for, I was working, I was getting trained as a chartered accountant. And after 6 months of working, I realized this is not what I want to do. And during that phase, I was really, really depressed in my life. And one of my friend who had attended some workshop just invited me that, do you need to go through this workshop? And when I was going through that transformation, the 3 days process, that really touched my heart. I realized there is so much to human potential, and unless and until we are not explored to this side of our powers, we can never really understand what is our true calling and what we can do in our life. That was the moment I realized that this is the space for me. This is what I would love to do for the rest of my life. And I decided to hop on the journey of becoming a transformational coach. And since then, my journey has been like that.
Right. Give us the earliest context, because you actually mentioned about your mom being a big part of your life that transformed you into a person that you are today. Give us the earliest context. How, like, how can we understand the Driple today? Um, Maybe since how you were being brought up. Like, give us a earliest context to understand who you are as Driple right now.
Yeah. So, right from childhood, I have been surrounded with people. So I was born in Mumbai, but I was brought in Navsari. Navsari is a very small town in Gujarat, that is again in India, and that place was very quiet kind of a place, not the metro city which I live in right now. So the life over there is much easier, and because the life is much easier, people are not behind any kind of rat race over there. I got an opportunity to connect with a lot of monks at that time. And so when you connect with these monks, the kind of life they live is full of sacrifices, full of detachment. They are not into any kind of worldly pleasure. They are not um, behind any kind of worldly thing. They are more focusing on living up to their spirits, finding the purpose of life, doing various type of religious practices or meditations, or getting one with your soul. That was the early thing that I remember. I remember my in a young age, me telling my mom that, mom, I would like to become a monk one day, and she's like, seriously, you would want to? And so she never doubted, or she never questioned it that I should or I shouldn't, but she was supporting me throughout. And also in my early childhood, I had gone through some um, problem that is called as nephritic syndrome. So what used to happen is my health used to get deteriorate. My kidney would not process the water clearly, and because of that, I used to have sore eyes and all the problem over there. So she had been taking care a lot, So the early age, what I remember is her caring nature, okay, her loving nature, her compromising nature, her sacrificing nature, and me connecting with the monks made me realize that there is more to life other than making money, and the ultimate goal of life is liberation, be it on a spiritual path or on a religious path. You're not going to take anything out of this life ahead in our next birth if you believe in rebirth or reincarnations. So I've been this has been the very core part of my life. That whatever we are doing, why are we doing? Ultimately, what are we going to take forward? Okay. So that quest has always been there in my life. Now, the journey of me thinking of becoming a monk but not making a decision on it, and because my mom used to say, "You're still small. You grow a little big, and then you decide. You have that freedom always. You can choose any point of time." And slowly, me becoming more responsible. Forgot about those days when I was thinking about becoming a monk or anything. But that core always remained with me throughout my journey. And when I did my first workshop on transformation, and I realized that there's a whole different side of helping people to get rid of their negativities or to get rid of their toxicities or to get rid of all the pain that we are as human beings go through. And this can be much more real. And that's where I decided, man, this is how I want to help people to truly get out of their karmas, to truly get out of their old programmings, which actually causes pain and bring problems to their life. You know?
How
That's
were
how
you
everything.
back then when you started thinking of becoming a monk?
Oh, I was very naive. I was very naive at that age. You know, the early age when you are a child, there are certain things that really inspires you. So I was very, I would say, I would put it, I was superfluous. I was compassionate, but I was not real at that point of time. But that idea stayed with me forever. So if you know the story of Buddha, he was the one who was able to found the middle path, not being too harsh on yourself, at the same time working on the purpose of your life. So that word of the middle path always stuck with me. And when I got into that transformation journey, I realized that if I want to help people, this is more real, where a person can get connected and can understand and can transform his life, not just follow any religious path without knowing the depth of it. So, so I was very
Were
naive.
you like aged like 10, 12, and thinking
Oh
that, oh, I
yes,
have this
yes, yes.
vision of like wanting to become a monk and what's not? Personally, I joined a mini monk camp where back when I was 13, 14. It's a whole
Wow.
cultural shock. So it's just 10 days. It's a whole cultural shock. The way we eat, the way we live, the things that we actually do, the quietness, the peace that I was able to attain, the noises and everything is all gone. Like, what was this something that you were thinking a lot about back when you were that age? Like, what got you hooked at what exact age? Were you like super young?
Super young. It was, I remember, 10 or 11 years old is when the journey of thinking like I want to go and be a monk started somewhere around that age of 10 and 12. I remember when I was 13, so our monk, they never use any kind of electricity or they don't use any kind of transport system, any mode of transport. Wherever they go walking. So at one of that phase where we have a monastery kind of a place that was around 10-12 kilometers away. So I decided to go and walk with him and stay with him over there for 2 days. So and I actually did that. Okay, and I actually went. at that age, walk for around 12 kilometers with him. And I stayed at the place where the monks used to stay for a day, not more than a day or two. But yeah, I actually did that. And I was amazed with the kind of life they live. It's pretty strong. Your mind requires a lot of discipline, a lot of commitment. You cannot get carried away into any kind of gratification. Okay, you have to stay together and follow the path of Sanyam, and that's very difficult.
Through the walking with the so-called monk, how has it taught you about being saint, the quietness, the things that you learned? How has he actually imparted all these skill sets, this attitude towards life that not ordinary people have? What kind of behavior that has they done that actually make you feel that way, make you become the person?
It has really helped me in terms of certain qualities which I acquired from them. One of them is staying humble in life. Okay. One of them is staying humble in life. And second, the most important thing that I learned from them is to understand what is truly valuable. Is it the things that we buy? Is it the things that we hold, the position, or what we really do, how we contribute in someone's life? That is more important. So we all have weightage for different things. What we weigh more above everything else is that matters. And while walking with him or even spending time with them has really helped me shape this thought of mine that one, the most important thing is to have control over your own senses. People who have control over their own senses can command their life in a great direction. When people who don't have the control over their own senses get more carried away into what other people or what the world wants them to focus upon. So that's the difference that I got from there.
It's really fascinating that after so many years, because it was like back when you were very young, and that you still remember the experience that you were having back then. I just find it really fascinating. And moving forward, when you work with him and what's not, what's next? What sort of key events that actually happened that made you grow as a person from then on after working with the monk? Like, yeah.
After working with Monk or any other things that I remember that has created an impact in my life is whenever there has been a downfall, whenever there has been a breakdown in life, when things don't really work out and you come across the things that you have been fearing or you have been avoiding, and that situation of life has always been a transformative moment for me. And over a period of life, I have realized that whatever we desire for in our life, whatever we want in our life, we are constantly attracting them. If we are ready for the change, then the things will come to us faster. But if we are not ready for the change, if there's a lot of resistance within, we ultimately invite some or another breakdown in our life so that the things we want to manifest ultimately can come in our life. That breakdown literally shifts you from your comfort zone and pushes you to become who you are so that you can manifest what you truly desire. So there has been certain breakdowns in my life as well. And one of the key breakdown, which I purely remember, was when I completed, when I was in F5 become that is 11th standard. Okay, after school we have from 11th standard, we have a college. So when I was in the first year of my college, uh, not first year, but the third year of the college, that's where actually I was broken. I was shattered. The reason I was shattered was the life in the metro city was too hard, and I had a lot of inhibitions. I had a lot of complexes making friend. I had a lot of judgment about myself because I was very skinny. I was not good with my vocabulary. I was not confident, and my family was not doing financially well at that point of time. So that young age, teenage is where you actually want to go out with your friends. You want to connect. You want to party. You want to go crazy, and you want to look to your best, but you don't have that money to do all this stuff, and that kills you from within. That emotions keeps on bottling up, and that's where there was this breakdown that came in my life, that I was getting too much into depression. Fortunately, unfortunately, at that same point of time, I was preparing to for the examination of chartered accountancy, but I was not really enjoying. Not that I was not intelligent or smart enough, but I was just not. I just realized that this is not my calling. It was very difficult for me to speak to my dad and tell him that this is not what I want to do. And that was causing all the breakdown. That's where my friend told me to attend this workshop, which changed my life eventually. And I was able to realize that everything is inside out. It's not outside in. All the situations that are going on outside somewhere has been created by me
What
unconsciously.
what caused you not to be able to open up to talk to your dad about what's holding back? Like
Yeah.
you
So
thinking
that
you thinking back, yeah.
yeah. So honestly, my dad has not an expressive personality. Okay, he's been a kind of, and right from childhood,
Relatable.
your
Relatable.
yeah. So my dad was not an open personality who used to speak and cheer me up or talk, but he was always there. And when you see the equation between your father and mom, and you're more comfortable with your mom, and early, very young age, uh, I don't know about Singapore, but in India especially, I have seen in a lot of families that mom used to tell that if you don't do this, I'm going to talk to your dad. Okay, and so dad ultimately becomes that strong authoritative personality, and nobody beyond him, kind of a person. But it was not the case. But yeah, my dad was not so expressive, and so I never had any such kind of conversation with my dad, let's talk about life, or dad, what's going on, how are you doing, what are you doing, etc., etc. It was more of a, okay, he's there kind of a personality. So I was always more connected towards my mom. And when it comes to financial decision making, it was always dad who used to make decisions. So me, the best part about my father is that he has never questioned my decisions. If I chose to become a chartered accountant, he never questioned why. He never went into checking my background of whether I'm capable or not. He said, "You want to become? Okay, fine." And as I told you, it was a difficult time for us financially. And because every one of my friend was opting for chartered accountancy, okay, and every sixth guy in our college is opting for chartered accountancy, I said, what's to think? This is the right choice I have to make. So I started with chartered accountancy. And after 6 months, when I realized that this is not, I was like, shit, I'm in deep trouble. I told him that I have to go for this. I made him paid for the fees and everything. And now I want to back out. How is it going to impact him? How is it going to impact the finances? I don't know how he's going to react. And all this fear, all this question was not allowing me to open up to him and talk to him at that point of time, which eventually happened after I did that workshop and I gathered the courage to speak to him and everything. His reaction was not too loud, also, surprisingly. He was like, okay, do what you want to do. So he gave me that freedom to do what I wanted to do.
You mentioned about the point of time when you were skinny, people were sort of bullying you, like at that point of time, how old were you? And if I was a fly in the room, what will I see?
So I was till the age of, I remember 17, 18. I was 19 till the age of 19. I was like this skinny, skinny guy. A guy who's with a lot of inhibitions, okay, who would always try to sit at a corner or in the mob, in the crowd, never used to take up any responsibility or challenge or any sort of leadership, would never be able taking any such kind of thing, and would be comfortable with those guys who never gets noticed. So it was more of I'm a nobody. I don't want to get noticed, because if I get noticed, I will have to showcase myself. I will have to prove myself. I will have to uh, showcase my talents, and I didn't have any. I was not talented. I was not skillful. I don't know what is my passion. So I was a nobody. So that is what who I was at that point of time.
What make you feel that way? What?
So
Yeah.
what made me feel that way is it has been since my childhood. Since my childhood, I never took any kind of initiative, never took any kind of leadership, and I always had this habit of comparing myself with someone else, and used to feel that this guy, oh, he's so good with sports, Oh, this guy, he's so funny. He can make everybody laugh, This guy, he has courage. He's bold enough to make nuisance also and gain attention or seek attention. I can never do this. So if I had given a thought on this, that why I'm like the way I am. So what I realized that in childhood, when your mom tells you you have to be the good boy, you know, you are the elder one, you have to be an example for your younger one. That good boy definition is completely different. And with that, I never did anything outrageous in my childhood. I was even scared of getting punished or getting a remark on my calendar. Okay. So that is what I was at that point of time. That image of being a good boy is something that went on.
Right. So at the point of, I believe it's one of the lowest points in your life. What was the thing that actually got you out of it? Because the person that I'm seeing right now is a totally different person, a peaceful one with really strong level of presence from how I feel. Like, what got you out of it? What was like the key thing that you thought that helped you through to overcome it?
The key thing that got me out was my strong core of wanting to create an impact, wanting to transform people's life, add on value, do something really, really spiritual. This calling has been in my life since childhood. And that is why I used to get attracted toward monks or towards doing something compassionate. And that calling of mine really helped me to attract things that transformed my life. And once you get to have the taste of how transformation feels like, how freedom feels like, how freedom from inhibitions feels like, okay, the fear coming out of your mind, and you actually feeling no burden, you feeling weightlessness at that point of time. That emotion gave me all the power to keep on moving forward and become who I am right now.
You thinking back from here on, back when you think about all these great things, the amount of impact that you can give, the amount of space that you can actually attain if you were to be strong enough. But all these things, it requires awareness, and people joining us, listening to us, someone, Tom, or whatsoever, they won't have this awareness of that, oh, if I overcome this low point and I can feel this way. They don't have this awareness of how it really feels like to be on the high. So what was the thing that actually got you to be aware at that point of time? Because I believe at the age of 18, 19, a lot of us aren't aware. So how will you become aware back then?
I wasn't aware, honestly. I wasn't aware. Awareness is something that has eventually developed, and that is why I could understand what really helped me at that point of time to come out of that problem. I wasn't an aware child. I was more of a fantasy guy who wants to do big things, crazy things, but is not connected towards reality of what really it takes to reach to that level. I wasn't that kind of a guy. What helped me at that point of time was my faith in universe. Since childhood, I have this faith in universe, and I have certain set of beliefs. One belief is that if you have good intentions and if you have never intended anything wrong for anybody, nature will take care of you. And that one core belief has really helped. Another core belief that I have is nature is very forgiving, nature is very generous. When I say nature, it means universe. That universe is very forgiving and universe is very nurturing. We all are somewhere part of the universe, and universe always wants us to grow and ultimately attain our enlightenment. So this belief of mine has been very core since childhood, and I don't know why. So what helped me actually got off my troubles or my problem or my lowest point was that I used to really, really pray to universe. I used to surrender myself to universe and tell them that I don't know, but you have to create a way out of this. Okay. I cannot see any way further. I don't know how I'm going to come out of it. I have my full trust in you. I give you that command of my life. Please help me to come out of it. And when you surrender to nature or whoever you believe in, it could be God, it could be some entity, anybody. When you surrender yourself, that's where your subconscious mind or supernatural or supreme or superpower, whatever you call it, actually can help you manifest whatever you desire by creating a pathway which you may not be aware of, by creating a pathway you can never dream of or imagine for. Universe works in mysterious ways. It will make you go through certain troubles so that you become a person and ultimately can reach to where you want to reach. So that intention of coming out, that surrendering to the universe helped me create that pathway to actually come out of it.
Play me how it's gonna play out. Uh, Manifestation, right?
Yeah.
Paint me the situation. How is it like? I'm having Driple sitting in the room, and he starts manifesting this thing. Like, how's the process like?
The process is like you having a vague idea, not a clear one, okay? You having a vague idea and knowing that emotion of how manifesting this is going to help me or benefit me or going to make me feel, okay? And once you have that clarity, whatever vague clarity I'm talking about, you start moving in that direction with all your knowledge, awareness, and your actions. When you start moving into this direction, there would be a lot of blocks that would come, and these blocks, these challenges will create breakdown in your life, will transform you to the next version of who you are, That will bring more clarity on how you can actually accomplish your goals or manifest your goals. This constant blocks that you go through, the constant breakdowns that you go through, ultimately are making you ready to become that person who is going to actually invite that manifestation. So it is what I call as identity shifting. You constantly shift your identity and then become the person who actually is creating that manifestation. That's the process of manifestation, which I have realized. It's not just about closing your eyes, visualizing, and attracting. It's a constant transformative process. You keep on transforming. You keep on transforming yourself until you become that dream version of who you want to be, who is actually enjoying the manifestation which you have been aiming for.
Back when you were 18, 19, so it was this constant manifestation
Oh
that,
no,
no?
I wasn't aware even about the concept of manifestation at that age. It came very late. For the first time, when I heard about this documentary, The Secret. Okay, that's where I was able to connect the dots. Not even fully at that point of time, but I was blown with the concept. And then I started understanding more, and more over a period of time. I was able to connect all the dots and realize that, oh yeah, this is how manifestation looks like. So the secret was the basic concept of the secret really helped me in terms of understanding that this is nothing but a manifestation of what I want in my life, of what my desires are, my dreams are, my passion, my goal. This journey is of all about manifestation.
So when you were 18, 19, you just have like a very vague, just an abstract idea of thinking of this vision that, because it feels like you are saying that you were quite a visionary all the while, and I myself am quite a visionary as well. I think about great things, but not actionable. So, are you sort of that character? Um, Back you were like 18, 19 because you were this visionary that actually got you out of that situation that you were in, the low point. Like, how is the process like? What did you do back then? Like,
Yeah.
what got you through?
Yeah. So I was that visionary kind of a person. And later on, the more I went through the breakdowns of my life, I became more and more of an action oriented guy. And that has really helped me in terms of connecting the dots. I've not been straight from being a knife to become a leader. Okay, the qualities of leadership came later on in my life. First, I went through a process where I became an action oriented guy, and I became extremely logical. I started putting things in logic, in perspective, and slowly, I went from being an fantasy guy to an action oriented guy, from an action oriented guy to a leadership guy, from a leadership guy to a missionary in life. Where I am right now, I'm not operating as a visionary, I'm operating more of a missionary, where I create a milestone for myself, for the organization, and I am heading the organization towards that direction. Obviously, with the help of all the great people, the great team that I have with. We are a team of 48 people right now, and really blessed to have these people. Everything the organization is able to achieve right now, it's because of them. I'm just being a part, just an instrument. And I not say this with humbly, I truly know this, that without them, it's not possible. So from fantasy to action to leadership to missionary. And eventually, once I am able to create missionaries under me, that's when I would be able to focus on being a visionary.
So you will say that it was like a step by step, a stone by the stone by the stone, and it all started back when you were 18 or 19, and it's just this one milestone after another and another until today that you become this missionary kind of a person. Um, what is the difference between like all these like milestones that you were going through? Were you sort of like getting better, or you will say that it is more suited for people who are catered to their personality? Maybe say someone is more catered towards like the leadership kind of a person, or you're just thinking that you're more self-aware that I'm the missionary kind of guy, and I found out like this is my calling. Like, what do you think this whole step process for people who are listening? That is it like a process of being more self-aware of a process for everyone?
Yeah, I got your question. So I'll put it this way. Never define that this is who I am. Never define. Because this definition, when you give yourself a definition that this is who I am, you get stuck, you get attached to that personality alone. And you are rejecting all the other possibilities of what you can be or who you can be. You need to become aware of, okay, this is my current self, this is my current reality, but this is not something which I owe to, or which I want to play out throughout my life. I can be whoever I want. I can be whatever I want as soon as I choose to be it. The moment you describe or put yourself that I am a leader only, I can be this only, or I can be that only, you are limiting yourself. So never decide or fixate yourself that this is who I am. The definition of who you are should be in alignment with your purpose, with your goal. So, by core, I am a transformer. I love to transform. My role and responsibility will keep on changing. So, I was a faculty, I became a trainer. Okay, from there, I became a project head. From there, I am right now the CEO. Now, being a CEO, even if I am not on stage or in front of audience leading a workshop, still my core is of a transformer. So that core or the identity of who I am is in alignment to my purpose, not in alignment to a personality or a position. This can change and this will change over a period of time. If you look at any entrepreneur also, okay, and especially not from the perspective of someone who has just been an entrepreneur, someone who has really worked as an executive or as a manager, as a leader, as an HOD, and then became a entrepreneur or a CEO. The journey has been of constant evolution. If you, as a business owner, let's say you started something as a business, okay, from day one, you don't have a single employee, you are going to perform a lot of roles. Over a period of time, you're going to grow to the level where you are just leading the organization. Then you go to a level where you have leaders under you who are leading the organization, and you're just giving a direction. You're giving a vision that this is what I want, and you are going to take it to me over there. So the role will keep on changing, will keep on evolving the moment you are becoming more aware and you're getting aligned to the purpose. If you don't get aligned to the purpose, you will limit your possibilities to one particular role only. Now, not that it's bad or good, it's always a choice. Some people are very happy being an executive, not taking the headache of team, not taking the headache of any kind of leadership, okay, and they enjoy that. They love to perform. It's a choice. There are limitations to that also, but it's a choice. They want to have a simple life. I want to work. I saw a lot of people like my brother. He's analytical, he's fantastic, he's straightforward, and I love him for what he is. He cannot be diplomatic. And he is a guy who would like to work from 9 to 6. And that is it. For the rest of the time, he would like to learn new things, increase his awareness, prepare more for life, thinking about the future. But he doesn't want to take up any leadership role. He's very clear with that. Okay, so he's not an entrepreneur or adventure kind of a guy who would like to go ups and down in life. He would like to have more of a stable life. He's like, why you want to have this all headache? Okay, enjoy your life to the fullest. So we both are very contradicting in a way, but I truly get him. I respect him. I adore, I admire him for who he is. And that is what it is. It's completely different.
Right. Back then, you shifted from being this visionary sort of like oriented person to become more action oriented. Like, what is the thing that what are the actions that you actually taken back then? Like, what is like the difference, the main difference that you did differently back then, comparing an visionary sort of like a person into this action oriented person?
Oh, so when it comes to being a visionary kind of a person with zero achievement in life or zero sense of achievement in life, people are going to look up to as someone who is just daydreaming. You need to really showcase results. You need to undergo that journey to understand what you can, what you cannot. And if you want to get out of this role to the next role, what kind of person you would want in your life to take up that action role. So that is why it was very important for me to, from being just a fantasy guy, to be a committed visionary. There's a difference between dreaming that, oh, I want to one day build $1 billion business, and being committed that I am going to do whatever it takes to build that $1 billion business. And that shift of commitment started coming from me getting into action. So the action which I actually took up at that point of time was getting into the executive role and do whatever my trainer or whatever my leader used to ask me to do, be it making sales calls, okay, be it making preparations for the workshop, be it going and inviting people to come for the workshop, or be it attending them, or be it managing the back end. I remember that for years I had gone through that phase of making cold calls, and I used to make that 100 cold calls in a day. I've gone through that, and that was very difficult for me, but that was the most transformative activity that ever happened to me. Why? Because the fear of talking to unknown people and creating that faith that I can enroll him has shifted me to great level. That when you call someone and try to enroll them, convince them to join the workshop, you go through all your fears, you go through all your insecurities, all your self doubt, and become more authentic every single day to be strong enough to enroll them for the workshop. And because as a trainer, as a faculty, or as a leader of any organization, all you do is enroll someone into your vision. So that training has helped me to go through hundreds of no till you achieve one yes, has created a lot of patience in me, and have been able to understand what the opposite person is thinking. And so our trainer always used to tell us this thing. It is not about what you speak that is going to transform them, but it is more about how you listen them is going to help you transform them. And that really shifted for me. So in today's day also, when I have my consulting calls, when I am training a couple of people or I'm mentoring them, the kind of questions that I ask them just blows their mind, and they're like, oh my god, I could never would have imagined or understood that this was something that was blocking. And the reason I was able to understand or make them realize is just because I listen while they are speaking, not trying to wonder what I'm going to speak or what I have to tell them. It's more about they communicating, and me just creating that space so that they can shift. So that action really helped.
You set up this company, and what is the biggest mission that you guys are up to right now?
So the big long term vision is to create 10,000 centers, create 1 lakh leaders who are going to eventually focus on transforming 60 crore human beings. So that's the long term vision. The current vision, which we took up in 2022, is to impact 3 lakh lives. And till now, we've almost touched 2 lakh lives. We are uh, behind achieving this mission of ours of impacting 3 lakh lives.
We talk a lot about your professional life, and I believe that everyone on the surface, on the Instagram and everything, people who meet you will know who you are as a person of this coach that really have this mission of really wanting to transform people's life. But what about the personal life? Like you becoming sort of like a better person each day and all these milestones that you actually went through towards the different aspects of your personal life, like right now, relationship, personal goals, hobbies. How does it look like right now for you?
For me, there has been a very thin line or not much of a difference when it comes to my personal life because I've been this vision driven kind of a person. So it is very difficult for me to disassociate or differentiate in terms of who I am in terms of my personal life. But over a period of time, I have grown a lot. I have become a reader. I was not a reader. I mean, if you give me a book and you ask me to read, I would better watch a documentary or sleep. I would barely be able to make 2 or 3 pages in a day. But with practice, I've reached to a level where every month I'm completing at least 1 or 2 books, depending on the length of the book. And my next year goal is that I want to read 1 book every single week. This is who I am. When it comes to other part of my life, I love doing gymming. I love doing workout, and I go 3 to 4 days in a week. Off and on and off, I've become inconsistent, and I've again gaining consistency over that part. I have this dream that once I want to achieve that six pack app perfect physique also. The reason being not to flaunt or showcase, but I want to go through that journey that requires that intense discipline of mind and control over senses to reach that level of perfection. Because I know that that journey is going to teach me so much, which I will be implementing in other areas of my life as well. When it comes to a relationship, I just got married 6 months back, and so yeah, it's a new life for me, getting adapted to marriage life, and that is what it is. When it comes to my friends, um, initially I was so consumed by this mission and vision that I lost touch with a lot of my friends, and I'd become a person who's just working, working, working. Last 6 years, I have strike a very good balance in terms of my relationship with people. I meet at least one of my friend every single week. Not a single week goes without meeting one or another friend. There are a lot of friends that I have. So I make sure that I meet each and every person. At least once a week, I meet one of my friends because I want to have that life other than my work also. So this is how it is churning out right now.
I sense a bit of regret in your face when you mentioned about relationship with your friends. It seems like you really cherish your friendship with other people. Why? Why is that?
I love so I what has happened is that, as I said, this journey of from going from fantasy to actually becoming a missionary has really transformed me. And I realize that there you have to create awareness to that level that when you are passionate, when you are visionary, or when you're working towards something, you have to be aware where you are not consumed by your goals. You are not consumed by your passion. As an individual, as an identity, if you get consumed by your goal, you will not be able to realize whether you are leading the goals or not. So this phase of mine was there where I was not connected with my friends and I totally ignored them. And that was a phase. And I think this every individual goes through this phase, especially when you are building yourself in terms of career. Nothing more matters than your career. And then after one point of time, you realize that this is going to one day end. Okay, I'll be working till 40, 50, 60, 70. One day it is going to end. What is the point of doing all these things if I don't have people to cherish with me? And that really struck me. I'm like, what am I doing? I need to strike a balance from now, because if I'm not able to do this, what am I training people for? What are they going to do? Are they going to become mindless, uh, obsessed, passionate people who don't have life? No, that's not what I want. I want to have a balanced life. And so that's where it really shifted me. And I started consciously taking efforts of connecting with my friends, meeting them, spending time with them, bond with them. And that really helped me.
What does your friends mean to you?
Oh, they mean a lot to me. I feel friends are your soul listeners. In front of them, you have no commitment. They're just there. And that unconditional relationship with them, that really helps you to cherish the journey of whatever you're going through. They are not there to advise you. They are not there to guide you. They're not there to hold you accountable. They are there to just listen to you and allow you to be who you are. So that really matters to me a lot.
The level of presence. It feels like um, it doesn't require any word for you to actually say or anything, but you just enjoy each other's company. And I think that is a really nice feeling to have. Nothing to commit, nothing to prove. Yeah. So coming to this point, we talk about almost like everything about you, Driple, and I find you to be very peaceful, very genuine, and it's quite transformative of like how your journey became from the start. Uh, being quite insecure and what's or not, and then after obstacles, that you never give up, and you become a person that you are today. And through the conversation, I just find you to be, you know, really articulate with your presentation of like who you are as a person. You are able to describe really nicely, and I feel like you will be a really good coach. The way that you speak, there's like a sense of peace, and I don't know how to like describe it, but I was able to catch every single word that you were saying from the start of the conversation, and I'm just very drawn into you. And yeah, so we have like a closing tradition for this whole podcast. uh, I have like a question to ask you. How are you doing? Because at different people have like different phases of our lives, right?
Right.
Uh, that we are particularly sad, happy, down, and ups. Um, how are you doing right now at this particular phase of your life right now?
At this particular phase of my life, I feel I'm a learner. I have a lot to learn. At times, I feel I've learned nothing towards the big vision that I have. I'm just a naive person with little bit of experience, little bit of knowledge, little bit of wisdom. There's a lot to discover, to learn and unlearn at the same time. And it's taunting me, it's challenging me, it's provoking me to be more than who I am or what I am right now. This is the phase of my life right now.
Why, of all things, there's so many different things. Why a learner?
Why a learner is because I feel that the vision that I have, compared to that, I'm very small. I'm very small. I still have to learn a lot to digest big success and big failures. The journey from where you are to where you want to reach has got to do about your capacity to take on success and failures both. And that ability to digest will only come through learning a lot of new things that I'm not aware of, that I need to be aware of. I feel that I am very slow in terms of my vision because I've been in this journey for now 2 decades, and I'm really happy and proud of what I have become or what our organization is becoming. But when it comes to the vision, I see a lot of people have done fantastic things, and the kind of level of impact that they have been able to create is so profound. I really get inspired by them, and I feel I need to race race against my own limitations, my own ignorance, so that I can impact faster. This is where I am.
How does the day look like when the day that you mentioned multiple, like a lot of like offices of the, the things that you guys are trying to achieve in the company and reaching a lot of like your personal goals? How does that day actually look like?
That day looks like I'm a child. I'm a child. I am excited every single day, thinking about what next. How are we going to deal with this? How are we going to ensure that this works out or plays out the way we intend to? And what is the next thing that we want to pass on as a mission or as a vision to our future generation? I am well clear that the moment I hit that goal, I would not be continuing that forever. There would be people who would be taking on the mission and the vision further. So, creating that narrative or that guideline or the next pole star for them, what is where would I would be looking, and at that point of time also, I would be learning from a lot of visionary people at that point of time.
I believe in your mission, and I believe that you guys are on a good way. In a good way, I mean good intentions for people, for others. Thank you, Driple, for joining
Thanks a lot.
this show.
Thank you so much, Jackson, for inviting. It has been a pleasure talking to you. The way you intrigue the opposite person by putting up the questions is really, really amazing. You are so passionate. At the same time, you have this patience to listen, and that's remarkable. That's remarkable. And would love to see you soon leading podcast with great, great, great personalities, and also knowing what is your mission, what is your vision, what is it that you want to accomplish. That is what's my intention for you.